Hey guys, Queen of Flannel here. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to part 2 of episode 1 of the Lonely Book Club, an adult coloring series where I find a book that has been sitting on my shelf, gathering dust, and bring it out and color a picture in it. So this is, as I said, this is part 2 of episode 1, and this is the picture that we have been working on from Johanna Basford's Secret Garden. So I am using the Inktense, and I did go in and do some work on this after the last episode, because if I try and do the whole thing, this video is going to be like a bajillion parts. Because as some of you have heard me mention before, I'm extremely slow when it comes to my coloring, when it comes to my painting. So I'm trying to find the sweet spot of how many parts, the video should be. So I put some work in on this. Actually took this with me to drill last weekend and worked on it. I've still got some leaves in the corner. I did a chunk of the tree. I started blocking in color for the leaves. I also went in and I colored a couple of these and then laid out the rest of the color for the flowers, but I have not applied any water to the majority of these. I debated with whether or not to speed color some of this, and that's always a possibility at the end, or whether or not I want to try and just, pick certain elements that I think might interest people, how I color them, and then at the end, once I complete the page, throw the completed picture up on Instagram. So I'm still toying with the format, and it might change a little bit depending on the book and depending on the picture that we choose. So I think for today's part, I'm gonna come down here in this area and try and work on this piece right here. So my plan for the shed, and also I think I'm gonna carry the color scheme over onto this box so that I keep them kind of balanced out. So a lot of obviously autumn colors across the whole picture, but especially on this side. So I'll be looking at trying to bring some of the autumn color palette over to this side of the page, and some of this pink color over to this side of the page to keep things balanced out. I'm also going to bring in a new color. I was thinking that it might be fun and still kind of within this same color family, to bring in a bit of purple. So the shed in the box, I'm going to color in with red, violet, and carmine pink. I did switch back to the water brush for these. I was using a water-based blender pen from Tombow, and I wasn't getting the results that I liked. So I switched back to the blender pen. So what I'm going to do is bring the camera in closer, make sure I have everything set up, and I will be right back with you guys momentarily. Alright guys, I am back, and let's go ahead and start blocking in some of the color on this shed. So I'm going to start out with the darker color down here, and I'm just, because I'm not sure how this is going to come out, I am just going to go in with a real light layer of this purple. And the nice thing about the Inktense pencils is if you start out lighter. And once you apply your water, discover that it's not quite as dark as you would like, you can go back in and add more color over the top. Even once they dry, it's not going to push around the pigment like it would if you were using a watercolor where you have to be a little bit more careful. So this is typically the way I work with the Inktense pencils, especially if you are newer, first time using them. Start out lighter and then darken your colors as your layers dry, and just, pretty typical of even colored pencil work is starting out lighter and building your color up. And I am going to enhance these lines a little bit because I do want those to be a little darker. And I already know I'm going to come back down here and some of these corners and underneath this roof and apply more Inktense pencil, because this would be where natural shadow would fall, up here under this roof. But this is just the way I prefer to work with these pencils. There are plenty of tutorials out there. I'm definitely not a pro, and there's no really right or wrong way to use these, I guess, would be the best way to put it. So you just kind of have to just play around with it and have fun. That is what it's all about. And it's been neat trying out different mediums that I don't usually use. Getting into water mediums. I have something else coming out next week that I'm excited about. I've been watercolor painting, trying to, diversify my coloring. And maybe eventually I'll get into, some of the neat stuff I see people do with like acrylic paint. I did go in a little darker with this one over here, but that's okay. So I'm just kind of coming down the edges here. I'm gonna use the pink more for some of the highlight of this. And the carmine pink is actually, you can't see it currently because of the way I have the camera, but it is the same pink that I used for the flowers. I thought that would be a nice like balance, and I was trying to stick to, I didn't want to go like blue purple. I wanted to stick to, the red orange, since that features pretty predominantly in this page. Little pink in there. Here. All right. Let's go ahead and look up just a little bit. The bottom of the door here. And be careful not to get into the apples. This is kind of this is the difficult thing for me about doing some of these on camera is the way my stuff is set up. In order to keep the book on the camera for you guys. In the way my desk is set up, I am set back a little further from my desk, and it does make it just a tad difficult to kind of see and really like make sure that I'm getting my color in to areas where I need to be getting it. So I do go in and do touch-ups afterwards, because if I lean too far in, I'll end up on the camera, which isn't a huge deal because I can just edit that out, but you know. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to do something different with the frame. Keep it purple, so I might end up leaving that for right now. While I decide what I want to do. I'm gonna kind of do this in levels here so that it looks a little more natural. And I probably don't even really need to put this much pencil on the page. So that's the nice thing with these two, is you can kind of push them around where you need them. But I want it to look like a door, like a wood door that is painted, so it's not going to necessarily be all like evenly lit and things like that. So, and then the pink will come in here. We'll hopefully have a nice looking shed here that doesn't look too out of place with the rest of the picture. And I guess even if it does, we'll Bob Ross it. No accidents, only, what is it? No mistakes, only happy accidents. And I will come back in and darken these lines up. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe one more part of this episode. Hopefully. And it may be me doing some work on it off stream, which is fine. Keep saying stream. You can tell where my expertise not expertise. Where my head is at. The live streaming. I primarily came from live streaming. I tend to say streaming instead of recording. Up into here. I like the way that looks. Some of the purple down into here. Trying some of these edges, some of these blend it out. So my hand, if I keep dipping off to the side here, I'm just trying to be really mindful of wiping off my brush as I pass back and forth between the two colors. I do want them to blend. I do want the pink to come into the purple and the purple to come into the pink, but I don't want to completely like muddy up the dark area by dragging it into the pink and then I have no pink highlight. So I'm wiping off my brush as I make other passes just to keep from too much of each color ending up in the other color, if that makes sense. So like right here, I'm actually gonna clean my brush off a little bit because down here, I don't want too much of the pink in this purple down at the bottom. I want this to be darker down here. I got a little into the wheelbarrow. That's okay. I'm gonna stick to this face down here for now. Cause see, this red violet already has some of the, well, it's got red undertones in it. Why it's called red violet. But I do want to maintain this color down here. And see, I may go in, well, I will go in afterwards and try and darken up just some of this like transition here behind the wheelbarrow where it's a little darker here. Up a little farther. Then I don't like the transition on that one, so work on that over. And then we'll have to go in and touch up like around you know, some of the fruit at the bottom. So let's, I should have started over here and worked my way to the left, but I didn't do that. So let's start here. Pull this up into the purple. And I can always go in with colored pencils, depending on how I feel, and do some of my detail work. I'm kind of a mixed media type person, so I like using the paints and the inks and whatnot as a underpainting. And then going in with the colored pencils afterwards. So the little space on the handle I'll probably do off camera when I can pull the book in a little closer. Oh, I thought I heard my phone buzz. You know, I gotta remember to either. So I tend to keep my phone on do not disturb, and then obviously I have certain numbers that uh like bypass that, like my husband and my son and my mother. But I need to go in and remember to put my son's school as one of the numbers that can bypass the do not disturb. I just get tired of dealing with all of the like the spam calls and whatnot. And I mean, I always have my phone on me, so if it rings and I'm not sure who it is, I just let it go to voicemail. But this is a very purple shed. And I'll have to go in and add some more here because it's a little streaky, but you know, that's usually what happens your first layer with these. And then wait for it to dry. Or you can go in. I wouldn't do it in a coloring book. Um Even though Joanna's books do take water pretty well. Um but I wouldn't use a wet on wet technique in most of my coloring books, just on the off chance that it damages the paper. So I have found, um, you know, don't keep going back over the same area repeatedly, even though you're sitting there like, oh, this looks awful. I need to fix this. I need to blend this. I need to do it. I need to fix it now. Um, and then you go at it too much water, and then you super saturate your paper, and it in some of the books it will start to pill, damage the paper, and there's not much that's gonna bring, if anything, damaged paper back. So I find it's better to you just gotta kind of ignore the streaks and just remember, okay, I'm gonna go back when this dries and fix that spot, and much less chance of damaging your paper and ruining your book if you just have a little patience and let it dry before you go back in. and try and fix any mistakes. Because like I'm sitting here looking at this like this is a hot mess. And that's just kind of the nature of water mediums. I feel like is they look worse before they look better, and you just have to be patient and um you know, trust the process. See, like that is super dark. So that is way darker than I was anticipating that was gonna be. That is. Whew. So now I just have to decide: am I gonna make the rest of that dark, or is it what it is at this point? I don't hate it. It just in comparison to the rest of the picture right now, that is pretty dark. And I may go in and add some more of the purple top of it. Just to, you know. I mean, it is the edge of the building, and I guess you could look at it as maybe the door frame sits out a little farther so the light is hitting it different. So let me. All right, I'm gonna turn the book. So bear with me, because make sure this is dry first. Yeah, we'll have to go back in and add some more color up here. This is pretty light. And the other thing I like to do too, once I get to that stage where I'm touching color up, is especially if it's in an area where I am trying to darken, is using your brush and just taking the color right off of the tip of the pencil. Because sometimes pencils don't even sharpen, don't quite get into the little spaces like you would like them to, and it's a little easier to maneuver the brush in there. Brush is a little juicy. This is one of the new Derwent push button brushes. I talked about these in my mini haul video that released earlier in the week. They're really nice brushes. You just have to be I found just be careful with the button. In these brushes will hold quite a bit of water. So don't squeeze it over your project. And, you know, wipe it off on your towel or your rag, or you put it to your paper, just to make sure that you're not putting too much water down on your. We'll do some touch-ups. It's pretty dry, so I can turn the book back around. That is a very big and purple shed, you guys. So, I know my last video that I did, the first part of this, I played music over top. Well, I don't want to say over top of it. I had music playing in the background just in case I hit a point where I was like engrossed in what I was doing, or if I didn't have anything to talk about. Do you guys enjoy having some music in the background if it's not primarily like a speed color, or do you prefer no music? um Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think some of it too was for that one especially. I think that the that was my first like full non-live stream video release. I think was part 1 of this, and so I think primarily it was also done to fill dead air, because as I was editing, I noticed that there were quite a few spots where I didn't seem to really be talking a whole lot. So I felt like having the music in there like helped, but I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable, I guess, um with talking while I do this. So if you don't like the music and we would prefer no music, I am definitely amenable to that. And it's like, I don't consider this necessarily like a tutorial. I don't really feel like I have enough of a background in doing this to do it as a to do like tutorials, you know. I can talk through my process and how I do things. Um and and whatnot, and just little like tips and tricks and things like that that I have picked up, but I don't consider myself like well versed enough in art or adult coloring or anything like that to market my videos as like tutorials. But then again, you know, I kind of felt like that streaming games on Twitch too. Like, even though I'd been playing and streaming the same game for um close to 3 years, like I could answer questions, you know. Somebody came in and said, "Oh, you know, do you like this aspect of the game? What do you think of this?" You know, I can give people uh general stuff, but I didn't want to like market myself as, you know, an educational streamer. There's so many people that have that corner of the market, and they're so good at it that I don't want to put pressure on myself to like be that, you know? And I guess the thing is with um with art is, yeah, there's rules and you know and whatnot, but what do they say? You have to know the rules to be able to break them, but I just want to have fun and meet other people that enjoy doing this like I do, and make those kinds of connections, um and I don't know. And I don't want to put pressure on myself and take away my enjoyment of doing what I'm doing. Um, let's let's wait. We are really not gonna get through a whole lot of this today, so I may have to rethink my plan for this series. Like, I don't want to completely like discount doing double page spreads, but I'm so slow, you guys. I'm so slow. And then I've heard some people say that, statistically multi-part videos don't do as well, that um people lose interest, and I don't know, you guys. I don't know what to do. I also hope this looks okay once I'm zoomed in a little far. I am recording on my phone. I use the camera on the phone, but I record through OBS and it goes to my PC, and I do all of my editing um on the PC at my desk. I just find it more comfortable. It's what I'm used. And I don't know, sitting at my desk makes me feel, not that you know, this is not my full-time job. Would I like it to contribute to my family's income someday? Sure. Sure. But I guess like sitting at my desk makes me feel like I am treating it that way to an extent, I guess. Be the best way to. All right. Let me make sure this brush is clean. I don't know why I am I a lefty at heart? I always tend to start from like the wrong. I should have started over here and moved over here, and I'm starting from the wrong side. I am right-handed. I don't know if it's just the I don't know what it is. I can't. Basket looks like the same color as the tree here. I'm gonna be kind of haphazard with this one. I want the variation in colors, but I'm not too worried about whether or not they overlap because it's a wicker basket. So, you know. So I am hoping to edit this and get it out on Friday and keep this series to a Friday release. And I guess I'll have to see like how it goes, because I'm already at 37 minutes right now and really don't feel like I have gotten a whole bunch done as much as I would have liked. Okay, so I'm not unhappy with how our basket looks. So let's do some pumpkins. And I may have to pull another color for our pumpkins here. We'll see how this looks. Just for some extra a darker color than currently what I have pulled out. Just because, yeah, we'll see. Nope, you know what? Since I have it in my hand, it's gonna keep going with this color on all the pumpkins and then put my highlights in. Like here, I might go in with a darker color to shade in that area because it would be obscured by the other pumpkin, so there'd be like a natural shadow cast on that. But I can go back in and go over it if need be. And I am using colors that I used on the leaves. Try and stay in the same same color family, I guess. Same color palette. I could throw some green in here too, but I kind of am digging the way this is. All right, let's color some pumpkins. I don't know if you guys can hear in the background. Um, I guess I'll find out when I go into edit. But we have a pug, and she frequently spends her mornings napping in a dog bed in my office. She snores like a freight train. I can hear her behind me making little pug noises. Her name is Eleanor, by the way. She was named after the queen from the Disney movie Brave. We were stationed in Germany. We when we got her, and we had lost our other dog that had come with us when we moved over there, and somebody sent me an ad for a little pug puppy that needed to find a new home. And um I sent the picture to my husband, and he was watching Brave with our son, who at the time was a toddler. And I guess as I sent him the picture, it was the part of the movie where the king thinks that his queen has died, and so he's distraught and he runs out and yells, "Eleanor!" And my husband texted me back and said, "Can we name her Eleanor?" And when he explained to me, he didn't even have to explain to me, because as soon as he said the name, I was like, "That's if we adopt this dog, that's it. That's her name." Sure enough, we she was previously called Frankie after the dog from Men in Black, and it didn't fit. So we went and picked her up, and Eleanor she became, and it fits. And she goes by Ellie for short. And when she refuses to come in from outside, she goes by Ellie Cookie. It's kind of, I love having animals, and we have a lot of them. We have 2 cats. We have Ellie. We have 2 house rabbits and 6 guinea pigs. And so there's always something animal related going on in this family. And Ellie, one of the cats, and really 4 out of 6 of our guinea pigs are unfortunately seniors. So, getting into that unfortunate stage of life with some of them. Although we have a younger cat who I swear keeps Oreo, our senior cat, keeps him young. And then Ellie just, doing all right. She needs to go on a diet though, so all right, let me see if I can get the color blocked in on these. Some of the color blocked in on these apples down here. And I'll probably go in with some of the yellows. And maybe pull a darker red. And do the ones in the basket. And then I think that will be where we bookend the this part. And then I think what I will do is off camera, I will work on the rest of this. I think we've got a good like sectioning off here of elements. So we've done some of the foliage, we've done some of the buildings, we're doing some of the fruits. So I think what I am going to do is we will make, there will be a part 3 of this, and part 3 will be half of the background, because that way you guys get to see me color part of background. And I think that will be good, rather than for this series, this picture in particular, watching me do the whole picture. I do little sections, and then the final can go up on Instagram. I feel like you guys have watched me color the shed, and I said I'm going to use the same color scheme on it that I use for the shed on this building over here. So if you guys already know that, and I come back next time with it already done, I've already, explained my process, and then this video won't be like 8 parts. Yeah, some of these little spaces are hard to, keep your lights in the light and your darks. So I had a cup of coffee that I pulled out. You know what I should have done? I should have recorded first and then made my coffee when I sat down to edit. That would have been the smarter choice, because now my coffee is sat here and is probably cold. But it's all right. I think they look cute. it's got a very painterly effect to it. So we did some apples, the pumpkins. I'm still toying with the wheelbarrow, like if I want to do it like silver or if I want to do it. I may end up doing the majority of the wheelbarrow, the watering can, and the shovel in like a dark brown with obviously maybe some other like elements in there, but just to keep it looking unified. So, I think that is going to be where we wrap things up for today. We finished the shed, we did some pumpkins, we did some apples, and I am going to clean all this up, finish up um finish up the rest of these, and I think the part 3 will end up being the background on at least half of the page, and then that should wrap up this first episode of the Lonely Book Club. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I super appreciate everybody's support. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when I post additional content, and I will catch you guys in the next one.